What's going on, everybody? FYB presents Wise Word Wednesdays, a quick live stream to help you get closer to accomplishing your dreams. Listen, we are back with another episode. I'm your host, Joe Spider, and I do represent the fresh. I gotta say, first and foremost, thank you to each and every person that took time out of their day to watch this Wise Word Wednesday. Man, we appreciate you. We are now on episode 13. It's 13 straight weeks that we have been consistent with providing you with a Wise Word Wednesday live. And out of those 13 weeks, 12 of them have, or out of these 13 weeks, 12 of them have had guests, right? So I only had to do one live where I went by myself, and I had a pretty good time. It was very interactive. I had people that were asking me questions via Instagram Live, so that was really cool. But I'm just really excited for this particular episode because I've got somebody that I have witnessed. But first, before I even get onto that, let me say, if you haven't already, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button on the YouTube. You can follow us at Wise Word Wednesday on YouTube. Look up the channel, follow us, subscribe to our content, hit the like button. Drop a comment if you really enjoy the content that we're given. And if you don't know, the comments or the likes, that stuff really helps our metrics. It helps with our analytics. It helps with us being able to get more exposure to a variety of different guests here on the Wise Word Wednesday show. So I am super excited and thankful that you decided to take time out of your day to watch us. I got a really, really dope guest that's going to be on this episode today. This guest is super amazing. I've been able to watch some things happen. We got connected through a friend on Instagram, and this person, just what I was witnessing, I just had to support. You know what I mean? It was one of those things where it's like, you can feel the passion, you can feel the inspiration, you can feel the hustle, the grind, like man, like that Philly culture, right? Like I really could tell that it was within the work that they're doing, and not a lot of people can show that in their work. Oftentimes you can kind of see a huge difference in regards to the work and the person, but I was really fascinated by the work that I saw, by whether it was producing weekly content this person did, and ironically on Wednesdays, right? So it's like really cool that we have kind of like that same concept there, but also whether it's promoting their own materials or even showing support to the FYB team. I mean, this person has done some really great things, and I'm just very excited to have them, and I know that they're going to provide you with some good insight. Anybody that's interested in going into like entrepreneurship, the idea of being your own boss, the idea of working for yourself to promote a particular product or even a brand, or just to promote yourself, I think you're going to learn a lot from this individual. And this man is amazing. So I know I'm so I like to hype up my guests because I'm just very thankful of the time that they have committed towards being able to pour into the people that listen. So whether you're listening on YouTube Live, whether you're listening on Facebook Live, whether you're listening on Twitter Live, or whether you're listening through Spotify or through Apple Podcasts, just know that I'm super thankful, and you're gonna get some really good quality content from this particular guest. And also, by the way, I got to let you know that this is pre-recorded. Okay. So I know that, again, there are times where I go live and I'm recording live immediately so I can post the comments while we're going and I can interact in that sense. But today isn't one of those episodes. So this is recorded previously, but you will be seeing it as a live. But no further waiting. We're going to bring up my guy. He is the founder of the Peace, Love, and Positivity Way. Please make some noise for my man, Dev. What's going on?
Man, Joe, first off, you need like a full-time job on, I don't know, whether it be radio or being an MC or something, but I've never heard the work that I've done described to such a T from someone who hasn't like been there with me in the room while I create. Like
Wow.
that was just, a work of art. So I got to say thank you for that.
No
I
doubt.
appreciate the amazing introduction. Good evening if you from where I'm from and it's 6:48. Good afternoon to everybody, stand by the Pacific where it's 3:48. How's everybody doing today?
Man, it's beautiful, man. We're doing good over here. It's amazing how technology allows us to be able to connect with people all the way on the other side of the country, man. I mean, me being in California, you being in Pennsylvania. I mean, it's really crazy that we were connected the way we were. But I'm just super excited and super thankful that you had the opportunity to be here to talk to our guests. So, but for people that may not know, Dev, if you could tell them a little bit about yourself. Who is Dev and what is the peace, love, and positivity brand that you have?
I mean, honestly, that's a loaded question. So I'm Dev. My name is Devin, but for as long as I can remember, people just call me Dev. The only people who actually call me by my proper name is people at work or whatever. So I'm Dev. I'm the founder of the Peace, Love, and Positivity brand. I am an educator. I am a community activist. I am a youth advocate. It's like I said, it's a loaded question. I got a lot of different avenues, but as far as peace, love, and positivity, it is a brand that I developed in technically started around 2017, 2018, but I started making videos in 2019 and I started selling clothes in 2020. But I was promoting peace, love, and positivity before it was ever a business, before I knew I was ever gonna make a dollar from it. It's just, how three words that I live my life by, so
Mm.
um, what we do is for one, videos each and every week, every Wednesday, just like Wise Word Wednesdays. You guys are amazing with the consistency. But I drop Peace, Love, and Positivity Wednesdays. The videos are anything from motivational to educational, just to give people a little boost in the middle of their week on Hump Day to help them get through to the weekend. Every time a new week passes by, you can bet on seeing a Peace, Love, and Positivity video in between that week. Like I said, we also sell clothes that I make myself. This is from the Choose Positivity drop. This is my
Hey.
newest drop that came out like late August, early September, around there. But yeah, so peace, love, and positivity. We do work in the community. We, do work on social media platforms, sell clothes. And like you said, the technology is just so amazing for someone that, I knew from Twitter in my way back when years to say, hey, you guys both do these videos on Wednesdays, got to connect the two of you. And now just like the love back and forth, it's like, it's amazing.
It's
Yeah.
crazy, man. It's a but I'm super thankful that they were willing to make that to bridge that, right? To make that connection because there are times where like your message on a Wednesday is like super inspirational and what I needed, you know what I'm saying? Or like something that I was thinking, you feel me, and passionate about. And I know that you've told me at times it's been vice versa, where like we were on the same wave at times. And
Definitely.
so super thankful that that person came and made that connection. So shouts out for sure. But
Thank you, Sid. Appreciate you if you're watching this.
Sid, man, you came. I wasn't gonna say, but Sid, you did your thing for sure, for sure. But what got you started, on the journey of like being positive, or not necessarily being positive, but promoting positivity? Because there are a lot of people who are also naturally positive, but to promote it is a whole nother thing, right? To encourage others to be positive. So, what got you started on this journey of promoting positivity?
And, I love this question. And unfortunately, got to go dark just a moment. This is the side that, I usually, whenever I tell it, I give it a small disclaimer because it's a very tragic event that sparked something that, changed a lot of lives forever. So, growing up, Philadelphia, I'm from Southwest Philadelphia. Growing up, had a nice family, still have a nice family. We're all really close knit. When I was 10 years old, I lost my brother to gun violence, right? That changed our entire family's lives for, of course, the rest of our lives. And from there, my mom was just joining different support groups, and thankfully, she found the right support group early. Support group of someone I call my aunt now, who also lost her son to gun violence in the city. And from there, I've been a part of that nonprofit for 13, 14 years running now. So that's what got me into, being prompt about my positivity, right?
Wow.
Being intentional about my positivity. And what made me start promoting it is just one day I just felt like, I need to be pushing this. I live my life by these three words. Pretty much everything I do, every part of my being can be described by either peace, love, or positivity, or a combination of all three of them. So, it started small, just putting hashtag peace, love, and positivity at the end of my pictures. Before I ever knew this was gonna be a thing, hashtag peace,
Right.
love, and positivity is just something that that spoke to me. Funny story. So, rapper, I mean, he's big now, Logic, but before he wasn't so big. It was more of an underground type of thing, right? He used
Mhm.
to say peace, love, and positivity. Sometimes he would quote it or hashtag it or whatever. This is before I was even on too much social media anyway. But he would say peace, love, and positivity. And when that spoke to me, it spoke volumes to me. I took it and kind of like made my own thing of it, of what it means to me, right? So, as far as promoting it, I just started throwing it on my pictures one day. People started asking about it, peace, love, and positivity. And I tell them, this is what peace, love, and positivity means to me. Um, as far as promoting it through the videos, one day, it's as simple as this. I felt like I had something to say. I put my camera up on my steering wheel and I started talking. And the
Mm.
response was great, insane. People, oh, you need to post this because I started, posting it on my story. This is the first year that you can have Instagram stories. You need to post this on your page. So I posted it on my page and just kept the ball rolling from there.
Wow. Wow, that's dope, man. Yeah, the fact that you had it in your heart during that challenging time to go in and to still find a positive outlook on things, man. It's crazy how we have a lot in common because I've went through a similar experience as well too. So yeah, that's crazy. And I often say this that um, sometimes the most positive people have the most horrific backstories. You know what I mean? Like when you really think about um, the things that they've gone through. Even my mentor, who's a super, he's a positive influencer. He calls himself a motivational entertainer, but even he
Okay.
has a huge, challenging backstory that a lot of people wouldn't want to go through an experience. And so yeah, I'm right there with you in the sense of that, like sometimes it takes those challenging times to have one person's perspective turned and to then be going towards positivity. So I like the fact that that's another thing that we have in common. But going into obviously you said you didn't know that you were going to start the PLP brand, but now that you have that, we're in this generation. And I like the fact that when you talked about who you are, you mentioned the fact that you're an educator, right? The fact that you work in your community. A lot of people in our generation now, they think that everybody wants to be a boss, right? Everybody is like,
Right.
I want to be top notch. I want to be in charge. I don't want to work a 9 to 5. I don't want to have to go to work and da 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 da. And it's like, don't get me wrong. It's great that we have this different perspective than maybe our parents, our grandparents, and their parents, right?
Right.
But I do think that, and maybe I'll make a Wiser Wednesday about this tomorrow, that there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5. Like I think there's this misconception that like working a 9 to 5 is just bad, and that's just not really the case. You work a 9 to 5, I work a 9 to 5, and I actually love what I do for work. So I
Right.
think um our generation now, everybody wants to be a boss, everybody wants to be in charge, or everybody wants to do whatever. I don't think that we fully have promoted all the work that goes behind being an entrepreneur, all the work that goes
Definitely.
behind being able to be your own boss. Oftentimes, many of the people that I know who are entrepreneurs work more hours than the average 9 to 5.
Oh yeah,
They,
easily.
what I'm saying? Like,
Especially
they,
like in those original building years. Oh my goodness, the hours are brutal. That's still where I'm at. I haven't even seen the point where you begin to slow down a little bit. The point where, okay, I can kind of take some days and kind of do what I want. I think that entrepreneurship came with technology, and technology just advanced so much so quickly, especially when COVID hit and everyone's at home and bored. Some people became consumers, and some people became producers, right?
Mm,
Um, so many different like hobbies and ways of creating content and like so many things that people saw as necessities while they were stuck in the house, they became businesses because if
right,
there's a market for it, someone's going to create it. There's someone's going to create the product for it, right? So I think that entrepreneurship blew up so quickly as the technology advanced that there was kind of no time for everyone to be like, "Oh, guys, when things go back to normal, when everything, when we're back in the swing of regular life, it's not going to be this easy. You're already in the crib 20 hours out of the day. Okay, it's cool. I can kind of do this while I'm here. I don't really have to go anywhere. I can do everything digitally, and then everything is lifted, people are working and things are back to normal. And it's like, why is everything kind of like changing? I don't understand why I got to do all this work and why it feels so heavy. And there's definitely a lot of entrepreneurs that are saying that try to push like, hey, this is not all that you think that it is, especially like, some of the bigger entrepreneurs that are heavy in social media, like Gary Vee, right? He's been doing this decades now. And he talks
right,
about entrepreneurship kind of in the same way, where it's like, this isn't all that you think that it is. Like, it's this plus a million other things that you had to do that is boring. The things
right.
that nobody wants to see, the things that nobody wants to do. Um, to sum it up, it's in a phrase that I came in contact with. I think maybe a couple months now. Chop wood and carry water. Nobody wants
Mm.
to chop the wood, bring the trees back for firewood or for whoever you use the wood. Nobody wants to like put the bucket on both sides of their shoulders and walk 3 miles and go to the well and drop the bucket in the well, and then carry the heavy water bag just so you guys can drink. Nobody wants to chop the wood and carry the water because it's boring. It's not glamorous. But everybody wants the end result of, hey guys, look what I did. I have a society. I have a working civilization. Um, it's definitely a lot that goes behind the scenes. And I don't even know all of it. I'm still what I consider to be very, very young in this entrepreneur game. But growing up, when I saw people having their businesses and stuff, especially like as a teenager, I always said to myself, I don't have a business because I haven't found something that I'm passionate about yet. But once I get my business, I know that it's something that I won't just get tired of and stop working on one day because the dividends aren't paying out. So once I finally found that thing that I was passionate about, it happened to be at a time where most of us weren't working. I was putting all my time towards it, and now that things became, we found some sense of normalcy. It's like, okay, now I have to find a way. When I got my first job back, have to find a way to put all the effort and energy I can into this while also taking my career that I had before entrepreneurship was on my mind and put all the effort and energy that I can in towards that during the hours that I'm there. It's a pretty exhaustive process, and it takes a lot of time for you to learn how to balance both things, for you to be able to grow your business outside of your 9 to 5, and to just like be okay with the fact that things are going to be like this for a while. Things are going to be not the easiest for a pretty substantial period of time. It just being okay with that mentality, that takes time. That's not overnight, and it's not immediate.
Right, right. I think I read somewhere where it typically takes about 5 years before, as a business, before you start to see profit, right? And so, those times are really important and critical for most businesses because a lot of them will kind of give up because oftentimes people enter this business idea or this business workspace with the idea that things are going to be profitable immediately. And when they don't, when they realize, like, hold up, I had to buy all the material, I had to buy the clothes, I had to pay somebody to do the stitching, and then I had to put it online, and then I had to pay a website to be able to have my stuff
Oh
online, and then I got
man,
to pay them a percentage. Like, they don't
talk
realize
about
all these little details, right? These little nuances that are built within the idea of entrepreneurship, that in order to be consistent. And I go back to the thing that Nipsey Hussle said, where he's like, I stayed consistent. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went through every emotion, but I just kept pushing no matter what I was feeling. And if you study people that have had success in business, a lot of them they just stayed consistent. You know, they
Yeah,
had
the
ups, they
main thing
had
you do is
downs.
just not give up, keep
Exactly,
going,
exactly.
and
So
go ahead.
could you, if you wouldn't mind, you know, what's a day in the life of dev? You know what I mean? Like what's a day in the life of dev like with, you know, with you having to work, start from like when you get up in the morning, like what's a typical day? Like where do you go? Obviously, I know you said you're an educator, so from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, what's a day like?
Yeah, so starting off from Mondays, the start of the school week, I get up in the morning, crust in my eyes. It's still dark outside. Got to wake up, put on either a professional or semi-professional outfit. The kids need someone to look up to, right? And that starts with the way that you look. Um, you know, I firmly believe, and one of the reasons that I got an education is to be closer to the next generation. What I want to show them through the work that I do at
Mm,
the school and the work that I do through peace, love, and positivity is that you can be cool without being X, without being Y, without being Z. You can be
right.
cool without selling drugs. You can
Mm,
be cool without being, a professional sports player. You can be cool without hurting people or lying like you're hurting people, like a lot of these rappers do. Back to the
wow.
question anyway. Day in the life. I wake up, I get dressed, make my way over to the school that I work at. I'm there from 7:45 to 3:30, unless, I stay later for any other reason, whether it be like a club, at school club, or just any type of extracurricular activities. But most of the times I'm there 7:45, let's round it out to 8 o'clock to 3:30, right? I leave from there. It used to be a 30 to 45-minute commute because of rush hour traffic until I moved. Now, thankfully, it's only about 20 minutes. So if I get back to my house by 4 o'clock, I'm good to do a slew of things. And I created a content schedule to keep me on pace because that was overwhelming. Just, oh, I know I need to do this. Let me try to just do this. I created a content schedule. There's days where I record PLP videos. There's days where I edit PLP videos. There's days where I do research on how to make my content look better. There's
Mm,
days where I'm in the lab creating the clothes because I make the clothes myself. There's days where, again, I'm just doing research on how to get better with making the clothes. There's days where I am editing the videos that I make of me creating the clothes, making time lapses or cut videos. Um, but I'll usually do that for anywhere about 2 hours or so, outside of my job and everything. 2 hours is pretty much enough on any given day from Monday to Friday for me to record some videos and be happy with the quality and quantity of videos I recorded, or to get some clothes made, which making the clothes usually takes a longer, depending on how many I'm making, takes longer than 2 hours. But it's hours that I'm happy to dedicate, right? I enjoy what I do, and every step in, learning and doing every step of the way, I'm happy and proud to do all of it. So, 2 hours after school, working, producing, editing, making clothes, looking at orders, shipping out, or doing hand to hand deliveries and everything. If they're in the Philadelphia area, I like to drop those off in person. Just to show how thankful I am, give thanks. And, you get it more directly than if I put it in the post office. So that's what my 4 to 6 o'clock, 4 to 6:30, or 7 o'clock usually looks like. That doesn't mention the times where I hit the gym or I have to, go do a favor. One of my favorite things about living, period, is to be a good family member. Um, to be a little brother, to be an uncle to a niece and nephew, to be a good son. So, got to factor those in, the errands, the favors, that type of stuff that I run by. That's my typical Monday to Thursday, right? Friday, I usually, I'll either have off after my first job or I'll do a double. I'm also in catering. That's something that I learned to do after high school. Being a server was good money fresh out of high school to help support me through college and stuff like that. And I still do that on the side on a weekly basis because that's something that I enjoy to do. I'm at a company that we got mad love for each other. I'm loyal to that company, and I'll continue to keep doing that until it actually can't fit into my schedule anymore because I'm doing other stuff, right? So you got my Monday to Thursday, my Fridays again optional for PLP. I still do PLP work while I'm in the school sometimes. Just get a little bit of time to go and post the stuff that I worked on earlier this week just to make sure it's up there. And then I cater Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I don't work on Sundays as far as like my actual jobs. That's the days, I go to church, spend time with my girlfriend. It's difficult to keep this type of schedule and also still work on my relationship, but it's something that's absolutely necessary because if I'm not putting time towards the relationship, I'm not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere, and we don't grow
Right.
together. And that's something that I find, it's non-negotiable. It's a necessity for me and my girlfriend to grow in our relationship, to grow in our love of God, and to just try to transform our union as we move towards becoming one. So I don't really hang out that much. You might catch me hanging out on the weekends sometimes after work because that's pretty much the only times that I get to, spend time with friends. And they also, are familiar with the catering business. So like after like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning on like a weekend after we just got off, that's pretty much the most time that, I spend hanging out. I had to stop doing certain things, right? To maintain my schedule with educating, catering, PLP, and again my relationship and being a good family member. So it's definitely a loaded schedule. It's week to week. The work is 6 days. On the seventh is like a lighter work day, more so rest, but like still working in other ways. So yeah, I mean that's what an average day looks like for me. You got to have a lot of energy to keep up with it. You got to eat
Right.
good,
Right.
eat fruits and vegetables, have full meals to even try to like be awake and give your best effort throughout this type of thing.
That's a fact, man. I think and I appreciate you for breaking it down for the entire kind of week because again, there's this misconception that, if I'm gonna be an entrepreneur so that way I don't have to work as much. And it's like, no, you're gonna work twice as hard as an entrepreneur until your business becomes profitable and then you may be able to take a break. But in reality, most entrepreneurs, because they've done it for so long, they've hustled, they don't even know how to really take that full, gas off. They're like, okay, well, now that this is, fully profitable and self-sufficient, now I can put this energy towards boom, this other hustle that I'm trying to do that I'm passionate about. So definitely I appreciate you for breaking that down. In regards to being and having your brand that like I said, you've been posting, PLP Wednesdays every week since 2000, what's it, 19, I think you've been doing it,
Yep, 19.
2019, and now we're in 2023. And then you starting your brand and, creating, different merchandise for people to purchase. What are some of what's the worst mistake that you've made either professionally or even personally in life?
The worst mistake that I've made, I would say treating my time like it's unlimited. Um,
Oh,
and that means multiple things, right? As someone in my early 20s still, I'm at the latter half of my early 20s, right? So as someone in that age range, you hear so often like, listen, these are your golden years, enjoy them because you're only going to be in your 20s once, right? I fully agree with that. I just take it a little differently. You're only going to be in your 20s once. This is the time where I'm going to have the most energy, where I'm going to be able to work the absolute hardest. I can have the grueling schedule. This is the time where I'm going to be able to get up and do busy work in the morning and still somehow not be tired when it's 1 in the morning that same day. These are those years where whatever you do is going to determine not exactly how you live for the rest of your life, but the habits that you create, right? If you create bad habits throughout your 20s, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with enjoying them, enjoying your 20s, but if you create poor and sloppy habits throughout your 20s, it's going to be that much harder to break them when you get into your 30s and into your 40s. And anyone that wants to, enjoy their 20s because they feel like these are the golden years you never get back, go ahead. I agree with you. This is it's all about how you want to live your life and where your goals are. But I don't think that for me personally, like I wanted to keep on with the sloppy habits that I had when I was 19, when I was 20 years old. I was still working on some stuff. I was still building towards something, but it's like I didn't have any real structure, any real discipline. The most structure that I had around that time is when I decided I'm going to make something on and upload them on Wednesdays every week until I figure something else out. But that was about it. And then as time went on, as I had to like get more structure to try to stay consistent, that's when things started really changing, you know?
No doubt, no doubt. I love that because oftentimes we as young people, and I even myself included, thought that like this wouldn't run out, right? Like I thought that I was going to be able to have energy all day forever. I thought I was going to be able to, like, I think now to some of the decisions I made in college, I was like, I was able to stay up all night partying, drinking, and I would get up early on a Saturday and still be in nice shape and all that. Now, if I drink a lot of alcohol, I'm out for like 3 days. I need 3 days to recover.
Yeah,
It is
recovery
not.
is just like moving slow, sluggish, brain not as sharp as it was a few years ago. You know, before it's just
Man,
like, listen, I'm up and out. And when I come back in, I'm gonna take me a little power nap and then I'm
right.
gonna be just as sharp as I was the night before.
Oh man, the other day I was at our one of our a homecoming at a nearby university,
Hmm.
and we did this whole tailgating thing and chilling, and I was, was having some drinks, and like I realized that I hadn't eaten all day. I was tripping, right? And so I think I went to the football game after that, but I just had this bad headache. I was like, all right, I got home and I was like, let me just try to take a nap for like 20 minutes and I'm gonna get up and we go get ready to go out. Man, I
Those
woke up, it
three
was
hours
2:30.
minimum. Yeah, I was about to say that's a 3 hour
Like
minimum
almost,
trying to
almost,
lay down
actually it
for
was like
20
midnight,
minutes.
and then I ended up going back to sleep. But it was like it was over. It was over. Like there was no chance. Whereas like again, if I was 21, 22, I would have
Hmm.
never even went back home. You know what I mean? I could have did it all of that on an empty stomach. I'd have been still been out there rocking and rolling. But so I
Yup.
love the fact that you talked about, that one of your mistakes was just like thinking you had forever at this kind of with this kind of energy, and taking full advantage of it is something that other people who are in their 20s, who aren't married, who may not have children, this is the perfect time, because as you get older and you start to have those commitments, you have a marriage, you have a wife that you have to tend to, you have a home, a mortgage, you have you have children, you know what I mean, all these different things, you have your jobs, all of these different things that are kind of tugging at you at your time and your energy. It just kind of drains you over time. And so the older you get, the less time that you have to be able to spare. And so taking advantage of this youthful, energetic, like limitless type of feeling when you're young is definitely critical. So I'm glad that you brought that up, man. I appreciate you. It's much love for that.
Definitely, yeah. The older you get, the commitments that you're tied to now. They don't go away. Things just build. So you'll have a lot less space to move and a lot more things that you're obligated to for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. Um, when it's interesting because you said you started this thing in the PLP posts on in 2019, and then shortly after that was the pandemic, right? And everybody else was
Hmm.
kind of like in their home 24/7, and this was a challenging time for the world, not just your city, not just your state, not just a country, but the entire world was like shut down for the first time in history, right?
Yeah.
And this it was very, very challenging, but you remained consistent, and not only did you remain consistent in your weekly peace, love, and positivity posts, but you also then expanded yourself and created the brand and started having merchandise for sale and starting your own business and things as such. Can I ask you, what keeps you motivated when you face those difficult challenges? When you get to the point where everybody else, I mean, we had 40 million unemployed people in America. We had over 1 million people that had been listed as, had passed because of COVID. And that's just in this country. What keeps you motivated when you're facing, those challenging times?
Honestly, and I hope that I'm not going to sound insensitive to anybody, but COVID was one of the best times of my life. Right now, me living in Philly, anybody that's in Philly hearing this, it was probably the best time in a lot of people's lives. But for me, it was a different reason. This is the first time, I was still in college and everything, so there was definitely a lot of struggles. There was a lot of difficulties. I was still in college at the time. And I had to figure out how to make online school work with a school that hadn't previously done online schooling. So it was difficult for them as well as it was for me. But
Oh yeah,
COVID
that's tough.
was the first time that I was able to realize, like, okay, you have something here. No, I didn't tell this earlier, but the way that the merchandise started, you're correct. It was during COVID times. It was actually, I've never been really too much into fashion, right? I'm not like someone who spends, a whole bunch of money on fashion. I like to look nice. I match when I leave the house, but other than that, I pretty much, would keep it simple.
I'm
People
about
would
to say,
say to
hold on. You
me,
can't tell me you ain't know in the fashion because some of them PLP stuff, I'd be like, he killing the game. So you can't say
all
you
right,
ain't
listen,
nothing in the
listen. I'm
fashion,
I'm gonna
bro.
get there, right? So this is how it was. I would put up my videos every week, and people would just say, can I get a peace, love, and positivity shirt? Oh, do you sell merchandise? My neighbor's music isn't too loud, is it?
Nah, you good.
Okay, yeah. So it was like, hey, do you have shirts? Can you put this on a shirt? Do you have shirts? Do you have hoodies? Is there any way I could rock this? For me, it was never about any money. It was never. I didn't even think about turning it into a business. Like I said, I was just putting out videos every week. It became consistent towards the end of 2019, where it was every single Wednesday, and I was just putting them out and putting them out and putting them out because it's like, okay, I have so many thoughts in this head, and my mind used to race a mile a minute. I'm so glad that it slowed down at some point, but I used to have so many thoughts in my head that I couldn't even get through a regular conversation without thinking 5,000 things in the background. So I kept it really as a video log or as a video diary, but less about, what I'm going through and what I'm doing, but more so about how I feel on particular topics. So people kept coming to me and talking about merchandise and do you make clothes and this, that, and the third. So that's where it started. My original designs, they just say peace, love, and positivity. The classic peace, love, and positivity logo that's spelled out with the peace sign and the heart replacing the O in love, and then the plus sign for positivity, you're replacing the T. That's my original design. That's like the one that I rocked with first, and just the peace sign, the heart, and the plus sign. Those are my original designs. So it just started just like that. Like, listen, you want to rock peace, love, and positivity. Here's how you can do it. I got somebody to make some shirts, paid them a nice fee and everything. And from there, the ball just got rolling. Now I'm definitely more involved in fashion when I first started and everything. But like I said, I'm a simple guy. So, I just made simple stuff. And it was really more so people buying it because I thought they were buying it strictly off the strength of them, rocking with PLP and what I do. It actually blew my mind to actually have like friends and family and non-friends and family say, "Hey, I wear my peace, love, and positivity shirt all the time." I thought they were just supporting me, showing love. The clothes were cheap enough. My first shirts weren't the best quality, from 3 years ago. So anyone who was rocking me back then, I'm like, I appreciate you because I know that the first few times that you washed that shirt, you wasn't really able to wear it, too many times after that, you know. But I remember a couple people hitting me up like with over the course of a week, and I had been selling shirts, for months at this point. Oh yeah, I wear this joint all the time. I love it. It stays, it stayed good quality and everything. I'm like, so you really wear this, and you didn't just buy it just because I'm out here doing this. That almost drove me to tears when I first heard it because it's
Mm,
like I know what I like. I'm a simple guy, but there's people that they got designer clothes. They go out and do the flashy things, and to tell me, oh yeah, bro, I rock your shirt, on a regular basis. Every time I wash it is one of the first things that comes out of my closet for me to wear it outside. That meant something to me. It was amazing to
right.
me. And from there, that's when I started opening up myself artistically. Because every logo, back from the beginning logos, I drew it out by hand. It was actually, one of my first designer's idea to replace the O in love with like the heart, like the
Yeah.
real heart, and not just like this heart. So that was definitely her. But all my designs from the original logos to the PLP University to the Choose Happiness drops to the signature heart logo, it came to me, right? This is back when my mind used to move a mile a minute. It came to me. I saw it. I had to draw it right then and there because if I didn't, I forgot it. I would take a picture of it. I'll show it to a designer. What can you do with this? And it's something that wouldn't strike again. It's like when I see it, I see it. I gotta write it quick because if I don't, I'm literally gonna lose it and never be able to see it again. So I would
Right.
do it right there in that moment, give it to the designer. We will work, and that's how that would go. So
Mm.
I noticed you asked. I know that that's a very long answer to the question. What keeps you motivated during difficulties. But during the difficult times, I kind of just, I just keep doing what I'm doing. What keeps me motivated? I find motivation in different things. For one, the fact that people support me so heavily, right? It means a lot to me. This is something that I don't take for granted. Ever since day one, to see that people actually like when I posted that first video, to have my DMs flooded. Oh, bro, you talking that talk? Me? I'm talking me? All right, appreciate it. But then it's like, nah, bro, you got to keep going. Yo, I love what you're saying. And I'm just saying the thing. I'm not doing this to impress anybody.
Right.
I'm just saying what's on my mind. And to get all that love and support and to know that, okay, I can actually help people. That was my first motivator. So when things got difficult, I just always focused on, like the positive. For one, the positive that that I feel, the positive feelings that I feel from not only the support, but from getting my own thoughts off. These are things that I need to get out of my own head. For two, the positive things that I could be doing for someone else. I've always said this, before I was making clothes, up until now where it actually became a business. If I put up a PLP video and it gets one view, one person that might have had, their week be affected, even if they don't say it, if they don't like it, if they don't repost it, if they don't comment, if there's one person that they might have watched my video and and they were like, you know, this really helped me out. I'm gonna keep pushing. I've done my job. It's all, organic throughout this entire course of having PLP. I don't pay for promotions. I don't pay for ads. I might have done it once or twice just to see what it's looking like. But everything that any bit of growth that I've had is all organic. It's all comes from the people. It's all coming from the love. So that's another thing that keeps me motivated. And on top of motivation is discipline. Even when I'm not feeling like it, even when I'm not motivated, it's like, all right, let me knock this out because you never know who's watching. And sometimes I
Right.
get the random DMs, yo, bro, you help save, you help change, you help whatever. That's definitely all a plus nowadays. But just the fact that it's someone out here who might be able to who might be able to say, I like what you're saying out here. I see this applying to my life. I'm gonna go and try to be a better person. I'm gonna go try to be positive. I'm gonna go and try to, become more educated. I'm gonna try to, not speak on things that I don't know about and bring somebody else down. That all, plays a part into keeping me on my pivot.
No doubt. And it's crazy again how how much we're alike in that sense. Cause I always say, um, my message is it's as long as it reaches one person, right? As
Mm-hmm.
long as one person listens to it, if that person can benefit from it, then it's mission accomplished. And I think, you know, we're on a path where it's like we're not trying to be famous from this, right? But instead, we're trying to inspire people who may then go and do something great, right? That's the goal. And I think that a lot of times people do things for show as opposed to doing this because it's in their heart. And I love the fact that you said that, man, because that's exactly the same mentality that I have. I'm like, look, I'm doing this because there's one person who I may not even ever meet, right? Like I may not ever get a chance to sit down with them. I may not get a chance to talk and see how my words inspired them, but I know that it had an impact. And so that's why I don't care about how many views I get. I don't care about how many likes I get. I don't care about how many people reposted. I know for a fact that somebody somewhere is going to, they may not even see it till 2 years later, right? When they're
Right.
going back and scrolling through my page, right? And they're looking. I added a friend on my social, or added a coworker on my Instagram. And I think we were chopping it up, and they told me, like, they were like, hey, listen, I went through your page and I was like, yo, I really loved your messages. And I was like, oh, I appreciate it. Again, now I didn't make this message, you know what I'm saying? So that a month later, one of my colleagues would see it. I made the message because it was what was on my heart. But that colleague reaffirmed me, right? That the message was, it hit, you know what I'm saying? And those little messages, those DMs that you get where you're like, hey, this touched me, this moved me, hey man, keep it going, those mean so much. because at times you do kind of wonder, like, man, is that hidden? Like, I wonder if, who it is. You do kind of question it. And so I genuinely love and appreciate it whenever somebody comments, and that's why I reply to all comments. I reply to all messages. I'm not one of those people who, like, what I'm saying, who trying to be Instagram famous. So I feel like I can't talk to them. Like, I try to reply to every single one. If I didn't reply to your comment or reply to your DM, it's because I genuinely didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only reason why. Because I'm not that busy. I'm not that famous to not be able to respond to people who feel like they were impacted by my words. So I definitely appreciate that you can do that.
Definitely, and I'm glad that you mentioned that as well, because like you said, when you put it on the internet, it doesn't die. It's not going anywhere. What we both do, we're building up catalogs. So one day, if we ever are famous or end up getting recognition, the internet is a crazy place. There, we could both have 2,000 posts apiece, and if you blow and hit the right market, people are gonna go back and scroll and scroll and scroll. There's enough motivation to fuel you for the rest of your life, but based off of
Man.
what we do, by keep going each and every week.
That's dope. That's dope. I'm definitely, yeah, man. It's just great to have like-minded people around you. But with that, there was I don't want to spend too much time on this, but I know that there was a difficult time that you recently had an incident where, when I saw it, it broke my heart, man, um to see you experience what you did regarding, I think it was Philly PD
Yeah,
that had that incident. If you don't mind talking just a little bit about it, I know that I don't want to go too much into detail, but just giving a, a, a general synopsis of your situation about what
yeah,
happened.
yeah. Not a problem. It's something that I've been living and dealing with. So it's something that I can definitely speak on without really rehashing too many feelings. But essentially, I was on my way to one of my good friend's studio sessions. Shameless plug, Sakai. Welcome Home Sakai Deluxe Edition out now.
Hey,
I
hey,
was
shout out to
going to my,
Sakai.
I was on my way to my homie studio session, and I got pulled over for what I thought was a routine traffic stop. Didn't see or feel like I did anything wrong, and it took a wrong turn. It ended up with me, being pulled out of my car while it's moving. Harassed, abused, whatever words you might want to use, and it was pretty dark. It was a pretty dark thing to happen. But after I got through that grueling night, um, you know, the love that came from it, right, far outshone any type of negativity that might have came my way, or any type of negative emotion or feeling I might have had. When I tell you, not just from from my immediate family, and that enough was it was enough to keep me in high spirits. But when I was getting phone calls from everyone who my family called to try to see if I was with them, yo bro, I was worried, da 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 da. For the amount of people just in my inner circle that called, was talking about how they were worried, and how much they loved me, and how much I didn't deserve this. It was a testament, bro,
Mm,
because like we were just talking about, we do what we do for the sake of doing it, not looking for the recognition. Is nice when you get it. Not looking for any awards, or I'm not looking for a pat on the back or anything like that. But when you get it, it's huge, because it just goes to show how, I don't want to say how important I am in other people's lives, but it shows how much love people have for me, right? And this
mm,
is just when it happened, when I posted it, because it's something that needs to be spoken out about. It was insane, is the only type of like way I can use to describe it. It was such a
wow.
crazy flow of emotions, because it was like I had to describe what happened, for people to really get the message of like what was going on there. And it could have been met any kind of way. People could have been, they could have said I was lying, could have said I was exaggerating, they could have said, you know you deserved it. Any type of wild stuff could have gone out there. And the amount of support, the amount of love, the amount of I'm glad you're alive. That's not even something that even factored to me in that moment. Where it's like, okay, you could have died, right?
Mm.
For people to say I'm glad you're alive, that's something that didn't even pop into my head. You know, it is a reality. It is a real possibility. And the people that just came out and spoke to my character, like I said, I don't do this for people to give me my praises. My mom always would say, whenever I had kind of those cocky moments, or I'm looking good and feeling good and I do this, my mom always say, let another man praise you, right? And the day that I posted the video, the other men and women praised me, and
Mm.
it was just a really overwhelming feeling, a sense of purpose, happiness. So yeah, when I went through that experience with the PD, I went through my range of emotions. I made peace with everything that happened. I'm dealing with it. It is traumatizing. I still have things that I got to work on, to get myself back to where I want to be and get back to my state of normalcy. But I'm dealing, and I feel like I'm dealing in a healthy way, and that's in large part to the people that love me, both close and from afar.
And yeah, I definitely appreciate you sharing that experience and kind of going through it again with me and with the audience. I think oftentimes, and I'm reading more literature about this, is us as black men in America, we often live thankless lives, right? We do a lot of work over and over again, and we oftentimes struggle with even allowing people to praise us, allowing people to congratulate us, allowing people to compliment us on the work that we do, right? Even just natural, somebody be like, hey, you looking good, you be like, hey, I'm trying to be like you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
trying to be
Like
like you.
it's you feel me? Like it's just natural for us when somebody gives us compliments or somebody builds us up that we immediately try to deflect and put it back on that individual. But I think that I'm glad that you got a chance to see just a little bit of the value that you bring to other people, right? Of what you mean to other people, people that you've met personally, and then people that you haven't had a chance to meet. I mean, I shared the video with a couple of my friends as well too. I DM'd it to them directly, and then I also shared it, on my story as well. But just what you mean and what the peace, love, and positivity brand means to the world. I'm glad that you got just a little glimpse of that. And it's unfortunate that it took this particular event for you to get that, but ultimately the fact that you have this perspective on it and just say like I'm at peace with it, and now you can go back to being the positive person that you are. It's a blessing, but definitely don't take any of the work that you do for granted, because you're constantly pouring into other people through the avenues of social media and allowing people to be able to understand and comprehend that they can be better than what they are simply
Exactly.
by choosing positivity, simply by choosing to be at peace with it, with negative energy. Like, look, I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna choose happiness. That goes a long way. And again, many people won't recognize all the work that we as black men do until after our time has passed. But what you talked about earlier is that we are leaving a digital footprint for people to be able to reference over time. It's written permanently. So they will be able to go back and see all the work that you did consistently 52 weeks, right? Every single year, you are promoting peace, love, and positivity. You're choosing to do that, even though we understand that society is is not the most positive place right now, right? Society, especially the internet, there are far more people that are going to like a video of people fighting than they will a video of you promoting this positivity, right? There's more likely that they're going to like or share a video of people killing each other, of people robbing, of people talking negatively, of people rapping about negative things. They're more likely to share those things than the positive influence that you have. But again, it doesn't mean that their lives aren't being changed, and the impact in what you're doing is very, very necessary. So I'm glad that you got a chance to just get a little glimpse of what you mean to a lot of people.
Thank you, my guy. I appreciate it. It's definitely nice to feel appreciated. I mean, I usually feel appreciated, but when it happens at large, it kind of just like helps, recenter it. Well, I'll speak for myself. It helped recenter me, and it's like, okay, the work that I'm doing is important. If I didn't think it was important yesterday, I know that it's important now, and not just because they're saying something. I know that when certain events happen, it drives people to say that how they've been feeling the entire time. And I do, before we get off this topic, I want to use this opportunity to say I'm actually going to be speaking about this at an open forum at the church that I belong to on November 19th. I've been posting about it. I haven't given address details and everything, just because the state of living in Philadelphia, when you announce that you're going to be at a location, sometimes things tend to they tend to go wrong. People have malicious intent. So I'm posting the address and everything later, but definitely November 19th, 1 p.m. If you're in Philly, I'm going to be having an open forum for me to talk about what happened with me, and also other people can come out and share their experiences when it comes to misconduct in this field. And there's also going to be community and political organizations there to talk about what we can do for solutions. Peaceful solutions, positive solutions. So yeah, I just wanted to take time to say that.
I appreciate you definitely taking the time to say that, and hopefully people can attend. And I'm hoping that at some point, if you're doing something, I can try to support in some way, shape, or form as well too in the future, because there's that definitely has to stop. I have my old college roommate actually lives in Philly as well, and so I definitely just wanted to be able to make sure that our people can be safe and protected by those that are paid to protect and to serve them. So 100% could definitely appreciate what you're doing in that sense. We are almost at about an hour, so I do want to get to our final two questions, which I typically ask all of my guests. I mean, I ask them a lot of similar questions, but the last two questions are always the same in regards to the goal of this show is to help people, give them insight, right? Help them understand what life is like in this particular career path that you've chosen. And so with you being an entrepreneur, what's one piece of information or advice that you can give to others to help them comprehend the lifestyles or the challenges of being an entrepreneur?
So this one is actually thankfully something that I came into entrepreneurship with, a mindset that I came into entrepreneurship with, that I didn't have to necessarily learn or anything through experience. Um, Especially where I'm from in Philadelphia, there are people that blow up quick, right? I don't know how everything is out there in Cali, but there are Philly is really small, but it feels like everyone knows each other through some way, shape, form, or whatever, right? We all know somebody that knows somebody that connects all of us to each other. People blow up really fast. And the thing that I came into this entrepreneurial mindset with is that I'm not here for next year. I'm not here for 2 years from the road. I'm here to lay a foundation 5 years, 10 years, 15 years from now, right? To where if people like the PLP videos that I make now, and if people like those clothes that I was making in year number one, I always would say, oh, just wait till you see me in 15. And that's
Right.
it. It's not overnight.
Wow,
I'm
that's
24
crazy.
years old. I've had a business technically for 3 years. Technically started when I was 21. That's when, money started getting involved in everything. At 21 years old, my main thing was like, you should see what I'm going to look like when I'm 31. You should see what peace, love, and
Mm.
positivity looks like at year 10, year 15. And, whether that be 10 years of me dropping everything and going as hard as I can and putting all of my time, money, energy, resources, thoughts, prayers, and dreams into it, or whether it be, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do my job because I have a purpose in my community. But when I get off of work, y'all gonna see this work that I've been putting in on a nightly basis, 10, 15 years. So yeah, it's not overnight. Even if you get the recognition you've been looking for, even if you blow up, even if you get the opportunity meeting the right person, make it about what things look like in 10 to 15 years. Because in 10 to 15 years from now, I'm still gonna be in my early mid 30s, pushing late 30s. That's not old.
Right.
That's not old. You're still young and still making mistakes at that time period of your life. So just make it about, a decade or so. Look at things from a decade out. That's the main thing that I would say to anyone that wants to get in entrepreneurship. That's
You know
definitely it.
what's super crazy, bro, is that again, and people that have listened to the podcast consistently over a while, or just listen to me, talking. I always like. I even say this. I say this to my friends. It's a 10-year race. It's not. It's not a right now. Like, even I've used this in so many different ways. I'll be like, we're gonna see who's right in 10 years. We're not gonna know who's right now. We're gonna know who's
Hmm.
right 10 years from now, and that's when we can properly assess something. So the fact that, man, the fact that you're in your 20s and you have that mentality, I promise you, man, you're going to do some really, really great things over time by having that, because you understand it's about the longevity. I know a lot of people like to talk to Nipsey, oh, it's a marathon, the marathon continues, but not a lot of people actually understand the concept of a marathon and how
Oh
it
yeah, definitely.
business.
The way he layered his music from 2008 to 2018, that's a 10-year marathon. And, everything he was doing, you can hear it in his music. You can hear when he was towards the beginning and was doing more learning than anything and couldn't even do proper work because he didn't know anything. You can hear towards the middle, 2013, 2014, I need 100 a show. You can hear in Victory Lap that it was actually a real victory lap if you was paying
Right.
attention to his music either from day one or you caught on somewhere in the middle and then listened to those old projects. You can hear that Victory Lap was so properly named because it took everything that he did with all of those mixtapes and finally put it into his first album. So it's definitely, something that I agree with, something that I can identify with.
Man, definitely, I appreciate that. And it's like I said, man, you're on the right path. The fact that you're so young and still have that wisdom, I appreciate it. And with that, we've been doing Wise Word Wednesdays every single week since 2017. And as you know, we are literally in year 7 of doing that, right? We started in October of 2017. So we are starting our 7th year of doing Wise Word Wednesdays every single week. And so we always try to leave people with wise words that they can kind of take with them to be able to help them improve on their lives. So the final question that I have for you is, if there was one wise word that you could leave the audience about anything in life that is you think is important, what would that word be?
Can I give you two?
You can give as many as you like, brother. I
All
don't know what
right.
the I don't know what the balloons was for on my thing, but it worked.
All right. So the first wise word for you guys is Wednesday. Um, Figure out what you want, right? It's really simple sounding, but it's such a loaded question. Figure out what you want, not just from which for what you want right now, but figure out what you want out of this life as a whole. It's not something that's going to come overnight. It might not come to you this week or this month, but figure out the types of things that you want out of this life, the type of life that you want to live, not just what your job looks like, not just what your money looks like. What does your family look like? What are the types of things that you and your friends do? What are the qualities of life that you want to enjoy and experience? Do you care about travel? Do you not care about travel? Do you only care about travel because everyone says it is cool to go out and travel? What are the things that you like, things that you enjoy doing? The things that if we didn't have to work for anything and money was not an object, what would you spend your time doing? Figure out what you want out of life. That's the first thing. And I wasn't even able to expand into all of what that means, but take that question and let it live with you. Let it sit with you for a while. What do you want out of this life? That's one. Um, and then the second, um, the solution is not always easy, but it's usually simple.
Mm,
Um, we complicate our lives by just doing all of these things that not necessary, um takes away the simplicity. um Society has a way of creating unspoken rules that really are not rules and have a way of tricking us into believing that we need to do X, Y, and Z when we really need to stay over with A, B, and C because that's doing just fine. The solution is usually simple, but that don't make it easy. What we do with me, you, Joe, Reeves, the entire FYB team, what we do is groundwork. What we do is real simple, but that does not make it easy. The solution is usually simple, but again, does not make it easy. So just try your best to not complicate things. If you touch fire, you get burnt. If you go outside in December with no coat on, it's probably going to be cold. Stop trying to complicate things because
mm.
things are hard enough the way that they are. Just make it a little bit easier by keeping things simple.
Man, that's a word. That's a word, bro. That's a word. I definitely appreciate you taking time to be here to talk to the audience and to give them some jewels, some gems, some wise words. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing and witnessing and experiencing your success, right? Your future success that's going to happen, to witness the growth of the PLP brand. I'm super excited for you. I know that you're going to do some great things. And just the fact that I'm able to say that I know you is a blessing. And I want you to continue, man, to keep pushing. I cannot wait to see where the PLP is in 10 years. I'm excited to see that. And I'm just know that anything that I can do to support, continue to let me know. And I'll try to do the best I can to support you, man, because you are killing it. You're killing it.
I appreciate it, bro. Likewise, it doesn't always show in what, our day-to-day activities are, but like we be working. And, if it's ever going to show any day, it shows up every Wednesday. You know, it's a lot of people that silent supporters. And there's nothing wrong with that. We
Right.
love it when people show love, but it's a lot of silent supporters out here, both me and you, the entire FYB movement. And that's who we do it for. Each and every week. You're not going to see a week where there's no me or there's no you or there's no the rest of the FYB team. And just some like on the off times where I don't get to post a video, the void always gets filled with at least two Wise Wear Wednesdays at the very least. you know
Yes, sir.
um I can't wait to see how things go over the next few years, turning into the next decade. Finding different ways that we can collaborate, from almost couldn't be further places away from each other in America. Like we were talking about, technology is vast. It is advanced and still growing. So we're definitely gonna be able to do some things. I can't wait to see where this goes and to see what type of change we can create. What type of positivity we can bring. What type of wisdom we can bring to the people. Because this digital footprint, it grows every week. And man, I just I'm really at a loss of words. I feel like I rambled with some of my answers because it's just like I was saying earlier. I have so much up here that I want to get out there that it's hard to even like stay on one track sometimes because everything that I think about, everything that I speak on, there's also this component and this component and that
Right.
component and this component. And it always it leads back to one thing for me, and that we need to just be positive and stop harming each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I appreciate you for having me on, bro. I'm a big fan of what you guys do. I love the show. I love the messages, and the podcast episodes too. The chemistry between you and the rest of the team and whatever guests
Yeah,
y'all have on is always just immaculate. Y'all all flow like y'all known each other for the last 10 years, and this is just y'all hanging out and talking about stuff. So yeah, I appreciate you for having me on, bro, because this is really a big honor. You know, FYB is something that I stay tuned into. I tap in, every week or just about every week. That's with me trying to stay off of social media as much as I can because it is a lot of negativity out there. It's easy to get swept up in, even if it's
right.
not negative, just like useless entertainment. So while staying off, I always make sure that I hop on, check your story, or if you don't post it on your story, I might go straight to your page, just get a quick word while I'm driving, to work or home or wherever. Man, I just appreciate all the love that y'all shown. It really doesn't go unnoticed. I talked to my girl about it. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to go ship this package off. My California homies. You remember them, right? She'd be like, yeah, I love that for you and all the girl terms that they be using. It's truly appreciated, bro, for real.
No doubt. No doubt, man. I appreciate you as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. So thank you again for being on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, FYB presents Wise Word Wednesdays. I'm with Dev, founder of the Peace, Love, and Positivity brand. I'm gonna leave you with a We Fresh, and I love you.